Welcome, everyone. Happy Monday. I'm the Grace Draga, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Monday, September 8th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5 card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our oh my gosh, what am I saying? Not a 5, a 10, a 10 of swords in its upright, in its reversal, in combination with our chariot card in its upright. All right, this is what I'm like. Okay, let's talk a little bit about incongruity and congruity, because what we're effectively, and I want to describe this, and this is the thing I was trying to kind of like prepare you for in relationality to this eclipse cycle. I've been describing this as like an anomalous eclipse cycle to a certain extent, because we talk a lot about the fact that eclipses are amplifiers. They don't really necessarily change the energy that we're experiencing so much as they just amplify the energetic feeling of it. Now, we were already in a very, 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 very intense retrograde cycle prior to this eclipse cycle beginning. All right, there are a lot of planetary bodies in retrograde right now, and I can't even say planets. I need to say bodies, because even some things that are not planets are in retrograde, and they're important to pay attention to as well. Like Chiron and Eris retrograding together is often working through the frustration of the self. It's working through a lot of energetic trauma. It's working through the messiness of the self, the things from the past that we wish that we could effectively energetically heal from, but instead we have to carry with us to a certain extent. We've also got the fact that we've got Neptune and Saturn retrograding that also create a lot of that similar feeling. But the thing that we understand, and I keep on getting, like, this is the energy that kind of forces us to feel like we need to come into the space of energetically contextualizing on it, right? Because when we're able to contextualize, we're able to recognize and identify not just the fact that we're feeling frustrated about something, but why we feel so energetically intense, why something feels so energetically important to us. We're able to effectively articulate and find the words that help us like persevere or move through something energetically with, I like to describe it with like the ability to articulate upon something that's hard to describe and finding words to be able to put to it that allows us the ability to heal with it. This is what we mean when we talk about shadow work. Like, this is what we mean when we talk about the space of the self that sometimes creates that feeling of inner cringe within us. And if you felt like this potentially intensified right before the fact that we had that full moon that came in, well, I need to point out there was another planet that went into retrograde right before the full moon and right before the start of the eclipse season, and that was Uranus. Now let's talk a little bit about Uranus, because Uranus often works this in the context of understanding and navigating the changes or the processes of change, right? And one of the things that we see that's very interesting has to do with the fact that when we're in a healthy space, we energetically welcome the changes that we find within or around us, right? At the same time, we can get very frustrated at ourselves when things don't feel like they're changing at the rate that we would aspire or desire them to be or to occur. I would not be surprised right now if there are situations that are happening in relationality to working through timing issues or being able to articulate upon the energetic timing of things. That's what we can also expect with Neptune and Saturn in retrograde. One of the things we're also seeing is a lot of those relationships that were coming together during that period of between this period of the solstice up until this recent eclipse cycle. These were a lot of the relationships that were being built upon mutual energetic effort, the ability to identify and recognize what feels like it's energetically mutual that allows one to be able to arrive into something. So that's what we keep on seeing that is occurring right now in relationality to a lot of that path work, the ability to define upon things, the ability to articulate. Now, for a lot of the energy in separation, I would not be surprised if the last few weeks brought a lot of things from the past back up to the surface, right? Having to do a lot of that energetic unpacking, if you will. Because what we're effectively identifying that's occurring in a lot of those modalities right now is a lot of the energy right now in separation is potentially able to identify how much they have changed in the context to potentially something from the past re-arriving to them and being able to see how differently they experience it, right? I've got some energy in separation right now, potentially going through the process of being able to identify and recognize what is not romantic anymore, right? I got a lot of energy here. I keep on seeing something going like it's not energetically romantic, it's tragic. But this is also why working through the frustration of the past experience, being able to identify what one is able to hold or what one is able to bring to bear into a situation. I keep on hearing a lot of the relationship or a lot of the energy in separation right now proceeding forward into this new energetic cycle, frustrated but fortified. Potentially seeing something that energetically frustrates the self, but doesn't make, I keep on hearing, it energetically frustrates the self when one recognizes that one is moving in the right direction, is what I keep on seeing. It's the observation of the frustration that fortifies, that allows one to be able to have that set intention, if you will, as it relates to something that feels like it is energetically restorative to the self. So that's why I keep on seeing, I would not be surprised if there's a lot of energy right now in separation, healing from trauma that is no longer trauma, specifically because they're able to contextualize upon the situation or circumstance that was creating the energetic trauma in the first place, right? The ability to see an unhealthy pattern, the ability to articulate to another what is lacking or what one is not bringing forth from a circumstance or situation. So I keep on hearing a lot of these relationships or circumstances, they're having those conversations. And the reason it feels like it's energetically refreshing is because the energy, I keep on hearing, it's not working into the space of nuance. It's working into the space of absolute clarity. And for a lot of these relationships, for a lot of the energy that's moving deeper into divine union right now, this is I keep on hearing, this is the feeling of having a refreshing conversation, the ability to, I keep on seeing one of the gifts of a lot of these partnerships that are moving deeper into union is the space by which they don't take each other's irritation upon things personally, right? Especially and particularly because a lot of it, I keep on hearing, like a lot of it feels like it's directed towards situations or circumstances outside of partnership. Now, for a lot of the energy right now that's moving deeper into divine union, I keep on seeing like a lot of these magician partnerships that we're talking about, like I almost feel like the energy is working through potentially seeing things outside of partnership that either frustrate or fortify. Why do we see that a lot of these magician partnerships are seeing things outside of partnership that frustrate or fortify? Because you'll remember that we articulated that for a lot of those relationships, the ability to kind of clear the air around partnership, if you will, moving something towards like towards deeper into union and not even necessarily feeling like one needs to wait. We see that for a lot of those relationships, the ability to articulate the force of intention by which they're moving with so much rapidness. This is either allowing the context of being able to identify what feels like it's energetically supportive to partnership, something that feels like it's sustaining of it, versus something that feels like it's energetically confounded by it. So everything we keep on seeing right now, I do recognize that there's something that's interesting that's happening in some magician partnerships as it relates to like I keep on hearing like the air around the partnership itself changing, but I keep on hearing it's changing in the context of the clarity by which another person is able to articulate or define how energetically important a relationship has become to them. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union. Clarification for those energies right now, especially with the Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. One of the things that we're seeing right now that's occurring with a lot of the energy deep within divine union has to do, and I keep on identifying this, I keep on calling it, it's like the thing with this type of energy deep within divine union is it doesn't really necessarily fortify direction. It's more just working through outside frustrations. I like to describe this as like, this is like the retrograde of minor inconveniences and not allowing the energetic inconveniences to get the energetic better of the self, not letting it, like I keep on hearing, not letting it, not taking things energetically personally, but allowing oneself to feel energetically fortified through energetic frustration to a certain extent. I keep on seeing that this is a lot of energy working in the context of being able to communicate in a better way, or being able to kind of look towards situations and see what one can bring forth in order to energetically ease something. For a lot of the energy doing that work right now, I want to describe this as, and I feel like even for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, potentially having to work through the context of those that are not navigating the retrograde eclipse energy as harmonically as one could. And I like to describe this. It's not the best way I can describe this energy right now. And I'm going to get the fourth and fifth cards to clarify because it's very nuanced. Hold on a moment. Yeah, we've got here the Queen of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. So this is the best way I can describe this type of energy. It can feel, it feels very chaotic is the best way I can describe it. And the combination of working through a retrograde and an eclipse can often feel like the energetic intensity of focusing on what doesn't feel like it's moving in the positive direction. That's one of the things we have to be very conscientious about. Because as I mentioned prior to this eclipse cycle starting, is Mercury is currently in Virgo, okay? And we are in Virgo season. Now, often when we're going through Virgo lessons, we are usually going through a conversation as it relates to what perfect is, right? Virgo energy is often here to heal their relationship to perfection. It's the understanding that perfection is never something that we find. We can't pinpoint it on a map, but the ability to identify perfect within ourselves, we can see it as a calling, right? And when we look towards perfect as a calling, then we don't get upset if we don't see perfect outside of the self. We recognize and identify what it is we are trying to energetically perfect, right? It's the ability to be able to refine something that allows perfect to be found. But often, and I keep on hearing, like the one thing we have to be conscientious about with energy like this is not letting our pursuit for perfect, or the pursuit of perfect, to be confounded by our own personal opinion of it, if that makes sense. Because for a lot of the energy right now, you know, I want to describe this, and we were talking a little bit about this, and this is why I was saying prior to this eclipse cycle, making sure that you were feeling energetically grounded in this type of energy, because the experience of navigating this energy and desiring to take something personally, or the desire to energetically internalize upon it, it's the space by which one is able to navigate and recognize what one is trying to do better that allows the context of perfecting to be found. So for a lot of the energy right now, doing that work, articulating and defining upon it, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, like I feel like it's working through our own, I keep wondering, it's working through our own energetic insecurities. It's working through our own feelings, our own energetic limitations. And that's why I keep on getting the message that when we're able to navigate our limitations with a sense of compassion, we're able to find breakthroughs because we don't take things personally. We try to be energetically productive as we continue through something, is what I keep on seeing. Now, and I keep on seeing this is also, I just want to show you, between our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal and our Queen of Wands in its reversal, this is what I meant in terms of this having kind of a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. For feminine, and I want to describe this as like the desire to go into hermit mode. During this type of energy, it feels very overwhelming. It's a lot of, I keep on hearing, it's a lot of that feeling of wanting to go inward. But that's why I keep on seeing that when we're able to feel that and then push forward upon it, we're able to express or articulate why something energetically bothers us or what we can effectively do in a better way. So there's something very, I feel like there's something very profound with the energy that we're experiencing. But I keep on describing it as like the profoundness that's found in being able to articulate a frustration and being able to provide an energetic solution in the process. So that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of this energy deep within divine union, it's like it's working on not projecting that on each other, but being energetically productive upon it. That's allowing a lot of deep healing occurring because they're building into that sense of stabilization. And I'm going to say this again. I'm going to keep on saying this during this eclipse cycle. We don't need to activate on every energetic cycle that we experience. If you are focusing right now on going through this eclipse cycle and just feeling even and grounded throughout it, I want you to give yourself credit, because energy like this, it can feel very ungrounded. It can feel very, like, I want to describe, it's all of that retrograde energy. It can create it's having to work through a lot of those annoyances or those small irritations and just not letting it affect your overall feeling of stabilization. Now, continuing to get clarification right now between our 10 of Swords in its upright and our Chariot card in its upright, because we're going to talk about this right now. One card to clarify. Yeah, we've got here our Star card in its upright. So the thing I want to describe, if you've been feeling extra sensitive right now in this energy, this is very, very sensitive energy. Jupiter currently is in Cancer. And when Jupiter, and I was even saying before, it was easier when Venus was in Cancer with Jupiter, because it was allowing us to have a little bit more compassion as it relates to our own feeling of vulnerability. When Jupiter is in Cancer, it can be very easy to take something energetically personally. I need to stress this. And then when we've got a lot of planets in Aries, it can create that feeling of, I want to describe it as working through not having the typical amount of patience that one feels like one typically would bring to a circumstance or situation. A lot of the work that we're kind of called upon to do in energy like this, a continuation of the cycle in terms of identifying what it is that we're trying to do in a compassionate way. I want to describe that for a lot of these new relationships, this is kind of, I keep on seeing that this is that culmination point in being able to express or being able to identify what it means in order to do something in an exceptional fashion. And I feel like that, and this is the new relationship path work that's starting to come together right now. And I think it's interesting too, because one of the things that we're identifying has to do with the recognition point that when we stop trying to be perfect, we allow ourselves the ability to become energetically exceptional. And I keep on seeing that the reason that we identify exceptional is the fact by which we articulate and identify what it is that we're trying to do in such a way that it helps us identify and recognize our own energetic purpose. Now, this is what I think is really beautiful for a lot of the energy in separation right now. I'm going to tell you right now, I see some energy closing out some unhealthy cycles simply by articulating upon the identification point of how much they care about themselves. And what's beautiful about that is I feel like I just keep on getting the same message for a lot of the energy in separation that says a healthy relationship doesn't feel like we need to abandon ourselves. It allows the context of being able to feel like we are energetically finding ourselves. So everything I keep on seeing right now, a lot of that energy in separation, focusing and identifying upon the manifestation goals, articulating and defining what it is they're trying to do in a better capacity, potentially even being able, I see even now, like I see a lot of the energy in separation, potentially articulating to others, like what it, like I keep on hearing, like I feel like it's interesting. I almost see some energy in separation right now, building into the context of healthy closure. But what's beautiful about that healthy closure is they're not necessarily giving that closure to another so much as they're giving it to themselves. Because I see even now that for a lot of the energy in separation, that understanding that closure is not found outside the self, it's found within the self. This is what's allowing a lot of those, like, I feel like there's a lot of this energy that's already feeling in the vibration of being in union because they're identifying and they're taking care of themselves in the way that they would identify and recognize their ideal counterpart would be as well. And this is why I keep on seeing that for a lot of those relationships that are moving deeper into divine union, I would not be surprised if there are some conversations that are happening right now as it relates to moving something, like potentially moving something into a deeper state of relationship, or being able to articulate and amplify what feels like it is energetically supportive to the self. Because I keep on seeing that for a lot of those temperance relationships, that ability to articulate the release and relief and relationality to what it is that they were anticipating and being able to find that in counterpart, I feel like there's a lot of that energy that is potentially, I keep on seeing, like sharing more of their heart space with one another, because, and even potentially articulating upon the energetic fear that they carried, having to heal from relationships or circumstances where another person told them that they were healing, but then it became indicative that they were in fact waiting. This brings us to a lot of the energy moving deeper, like the energy deep within divine union right now. And there's a lot of shifting that's occurring right now. So what we're basically seeing is a lot of those temperance relationships are moving deeper into divine union. The magician partnerships are moving deep into divine union. So for a lot of those magician relationships, clarification, and for clarity, magician partnerships were coming together between the time of the solstice period up until the time that Mercury and Venus was stationed direct behind Neptune. Clarification between our chariot and our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal. We have here the Eight of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, what's interesting, I keep on seeing, it's like for some of those relationships that are moving deeper into divine union right now, I feel like it's having to navigate the volatility potentially outside of partnership. Now, why are we potentially seeing that some of those relationships are navigating energetic volatility outside of partnership? Well, you will recall that we articulated the fact that a lot of those relationships are moving with a lot of rapidity. Things are moving very, very quickly. And we even articulated that ability of being energetically protective outside of partnership, having to explain to another why there is that element of speed there. This is the energy that was articulating the difference between moving something quickly towards something out of a sense of desperation in the ability to heal or fix it versus a space of celebration. And that's why I keep on seeing that for some of these relationships, like I want to say, like they're almost potentially, and that's what I meant with like Uranus in retrograde, seeing something outside a partnership that potentially gives one pause. What's interesting about that is the energy that is working through the energetic discernment as it relates to seeing something that is positive and supportive to them, that feels like, I keep on hearing, should be anticipated and welcomed, should be with a sense of celebration. And that's why I keep on seeing that if there's some kind of modality here where they're articulating upon an energetic celebration point and another person is amplifying their frustration upon it, I almost feel like there's something. Remember when I said, and we're going to talk about this here because now, like, I'm actually getting there's a lot of intensification that's occurring right now for some of those magician relationships. The difference, I keep on hearing the observation and the difference in recognizing what feels like it is energetically supportive and stable to healthy partnership versus something that feels like it's energetically reactive or exceptional. There's something very profound that's occurring there. Clarification between our Knight of Pentacles in its reversal and our Queen of Wands in its reversal. We've got here the Seven of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, this is very intriguing because you'll remember and you'll recall that we spoke about it, the fact for a lot of those magician partnerships, there's something that's been happening in relationality to being within nourishing partnership is what I keep on seeing. And for a lot of those relationships, it is the recognition, I keep on hearing, it is the recognition and understanding that when we head into healthy partnership, our priorities often change. They I keep on hearing the mad, like, and this is what's interesting about it. So it's almost like what we're effectively seeing is for some of those magician partnerships, they're going through a maturation process outside of partnership. And what do we mean by them going through a maturation process outside of partnership? Because I keep on seeing when we energetically maturate, our priorities effectively shift. And so for a lot of those relationships, for the energy, like I feel like this is a lot of that energy that's already shifted in that vibration, but the ability of another to effectively see like the gift of maturation, navigating the energetic shift from a space of celebration. This is qualifying what relationships feel like they are continuing to stay within the orbit of the energy that's moving deeper into partnership versus I keep on seeing the space by which we sometimes come into a sense of shock when we articulate something that's energetically supportive to us and another person becomes energetically reactive about it. And so that's why I keep on seeing that there's something very significant that's happening in the context of some of those magician partnerships, because it's navigating the intensity of the relationship that helps qualify and calibrate the energy outside of partnership as it relates to energy that can navigate another person's maturation. And that's what I keep on seeing. Like, this is often why we talk about the fact that maturation cycles can sometimes feel like they're so energetically volatile. Because I keep on seeing when we energetically maturate and our priorities shift, that is often the space by which we energetically welcome and celebrate it. But often I keep on saying if someone is not maturating at the same time or the same process that we ourselves are, it can create, I keep on hearing, it can create a lot of that frustration as it relates to another person not experiencing something that feels like it's positive from the space of positivity, but rather taking something energetically personally. And that's why I keep on seeing right now that for some of these partnerships moving deeper into divine union, if they're going through something profound and another person's taking it personally, that could potentially lead. I keep on hearing it's like potentially it's either fortifying the relationships outside of partnership where another person feels the energetic support of something that feels stabilizing, while at the same time it's potentially working through the frustration of another person taking a profound moment and making it energetically personal. That sometimes is the amplification of why we're building into the context of allowing the space of being of, I keep on seeing like that is the energy that's like working on healing from a circumstance or situation of that nature. Continuing to get clarification for the energy deep within divine union right now, clarification between our Queen of Wands and its reversal in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. We have here our Seven of Wands in its upright. And this is really important right now. We're just going to talk about this energy for a moment. We've got Seven of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with Seven of Wands in its upright. Now, what do we effectively see with the combination of a Seven of Pentacles with a Seven of Wands and it's upright. This is what I mean about the disharmony, if you will, of having to navigate an eclipse cycle during a retrograde season, right? Because when we're navigating a retrograde cycle in the midst of an eclipse season, it can feel like it puts a lot of weight on our own sense of patience, right? It can build into that context of working through something that feels really energetically frustrating, right? But we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy going through that, right? And this is what I meant in relationality to this being kind of like pathwork of perseverance. We build into our own context of patience by being able to communicate upon our passion in a way that feels like it energetically fortifies our intention. So for a lot of the energy doing that work, articulating and defining upon that, I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy, like I like to describe it better, and this is what I meant about this being most difficult for energy deep within divine union. It's like it's having to work through potentially the frustration of others, but also being able to amplify and articulate the fact that like working towards what feels like it is energetically practical or productive. And that's one of the things that's hard with energy like this, as I keep on hearing, it's hard to be productive when there's so many things that are energetically frustrating upon the self. But that's why I see a lot of the energy that's like working in the context of channeling the frustration into things that feel like they're energetically productive. It's like I keep on seeing it's like it's a lot of like I keep on feeling like for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, finding those creative outlets or finding that ability of being able to articulate something or getting more, I keep on hearing like finding new words to articulate upon how one is feeling. Now for the energy in separation right now, clarification with this star energy and the Eight of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Wow, yeah, there's that Death card in its reversal. So let's talk a little bit about it right now. Because and this is what I meant, and this is like what we have to be conscientious about when we're going through an eclipse with all of this energy in retrograde, right? Because it can feel like a lot of stop-start is the best way I can describe it. And I want to kind of like the best way I can, like it's a lot of it's clumsy energy is the best way, is also another way of describing it. So it's a lot of that stop start. It's a lot of that working into the frustration of the self when something is not moving smoothly, but it's a reaffirmation of understanding that smoothness is the gift we bring to situations when we're trying to energetically work productively. So I feel like there's something really important that's occurring in those modalities. And a lot of that, I keep on hearing, a lot of that work or facilitating upon something in such a fashion is helping, I keep on hearing, helping a lot of energy. I either see like hold compassion for themselves in separation by being able to identify what their needs are so that they can be met. Because I keep on, and this was something that was coming through a lot during those temperance cycles that we experienced, which is not letting another person confound our own manifestation goals, right? When we are not in alignment with another person, they will make our standards sound absurd, right? I keep on hearing the same thing. It's not needy to have a need. Everybody has an energetic need. A fixed point of need is an energetic standard. Neediness is only when you have a standard that constantly changes or constantly moves around. So that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in separation, the ability to articulate upon what their needs are in partnership is helping them effectively find them. And so and for a lot of this energy right now, and this is what I meant, about some unhealthy relationships closing or reaching that point of closure. I keep on seeing that this is also a lot of the energy and separation, working through the fact that unhealthy relationships are often predicated upon the fact that they never give us closure, because it's the understanding of another person that does not have the same standards as us that is something that we're typically or traditionally having to heal from. So that's why I keep on seeing that this is a lot of the energy. I think it's beautiful, because I keep on hearing, even in the midst of a lot of energetic confusion, I see a lot of healthy energy that is prioritizing upon their peace. And what's beautiful about that is I keep on hearing, our energetic peace does not come at the cost of each other's, so long as we're working to be energetically protective of each other's, is what I keep on seeing. So for a lot of the energy doing that work, being able to amplify and articulate, and I keep on seeing having that like space of compassion upon it. I keep on seeing that this is a lot of the energy in separation, understanding, not confusing compassion with niceness, which isn't the feeling of effectively having to energetically allow for anything, but being able to articulate upon something that one feels or identifies or sees that is energetically missing. And so for a lot of the energy, I think what's beautiful about this is I feel like it's a lot of the energy like finding the words in separation to articulate upon their own energetic frustration. Because I keep on getting, one of the ways that we are able to understand and recognize healthy partnership is healthy partnership can navigate a hard conversation. And if these are energies that were like beating themselves up because something they said created, I keep wondering, something they said created a space where another energy went away, right? This is the energy like going through the eclipse, having someone come back and saying, not being like, are you ready to continue? Someone being like, are you ready to continue the conversation? You know what I mean? Like, it's like the energy. It's the energy that almost articulates to one another and says, when we're in a healthy space, we pick it back up where we left off. That allows the ability, I keep on hearing, allows the ability to find an energetic flow state is everything I keep on seeing. So what's beautiful about that is I keep on seeing it's like, and I'm going to tell you right now, I would not be surprised if there's some energy right now in separation that is looking at something and identifying the difference between, I keep on hearing the difference between a bookmark versus a chalkboard erase moment, which is the observation and being able to understand and identify what it is that we're trying to do in a better fashion that allows us the ability to progress forward beyond a point. So everything I keep on seeing there, like I said, for some of the energy in some of the energy in separation, it's a frustration that reaffirms one's own energetic commitment to how far one has come. This brings us to a lot of the energy. I told you, these temperance relationships that are moving deeper into divine union right now. Clarification between our Eight of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Pentacles in its reversal. There's our Page of Wands in its reversal. And this is really, like, this is important here. This Page of Wands in its reversal is really important. And why is it energetically important? I'm going to tell you right now, there's some energy that is moving deeper into divine union, and they're introducing each other to their inner children, is what I keep on hearing. That's what's, and why are we effectively seeing this right now? There is some energy. I got to describe these temperance relationships. Are working through some really deep core core wounds as it relates to working through. I keep on hearing healthy relationship is the context by which we're healing, and we're not energetically waiting for something, is what I keep on getting. And I keep on seeing that for some of these relationships, coming into union right now, they are healing from, I keep on hearing, disembodied manifestations. And what is a disembodied manifestation? This is how we hurt each other with a disembodied manifestation. A disembodied manifestation is when we articulate upon the fact that we're energetically healing. We're healing, which is saying we're going in one direction. But then in the moment or the modality by which something comes back, another person moves in the opposite direction, is what I keep on seeing. Remember when I told you that a lot of these relationships, they have really good direction sense. And so that's why I keep on seeing that there's something about that journey, the ability to articulate to one another in a deeper fashion. It's the observation or the ability to be able to communicate upon something that is allowing the energetic arrival into a deeper space of relationship. And that's why I keep on seeing that these are the energies that are coming together right now. And what are they doing at this time? They're sharing and they're coming to know one another by being able to articulate and amplify more about those energetic wounds that they're carrying, potentially talking more, coming more into that space of revealing to one another, like just like I keep on hearing both their anxiety upon what they were worried was going to happen, also what they've experienced in the past that built that energetic anxiety within them in the first place. And so what's beautiful about that is for a lot of the energy, like the ability, I keep on hearing like the ability to work through the anxiety of a fear and not taking it personally, but taking it profoundly. There's a lot of that energy that's deepening their energetic connection, specifically and particularly because they're able, I keep on hearing, they're giving each other the confidence in being able to understand both why, I keep on hearing, both who, like the impact of meeting, I keep on hearing they're exceptional. They're exceptional in each other's experience, in the space by which they've never met anyone that is like that to one another. Like seeing somebody who is able to be energetically true in terms of what they are articulating their own energetic desire to be, while simultaneously being able to talk deeper about the wounds that may have created that feeling of uncertainty as it relates to the disembodied manifestations that cause those harms in the first place. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Seven of Wands in its upright. And this is what I'm telling you right now. This is the vibe of this retrograde cycle. This is why this retrograde eclipse cycle can feel so like there's so much disparateness in it, because I want to describe it as like we were going through, before we entered the retrograde, the eclipse, we were already feeling like there was a lot of that intensification as it relates to working through frustration. And this is why I was saying that it's so important to make sure that you are entering this eclipse cycle from a space of grounding, because it can create, I keep on seeing, like it creates a lot of that ability in being able to articulate and define in terms of what one is trying to do in a greater capacity. But I keep on seeing it's also creating that space of working through others. I keep on hearing working through others that aren't going through the retrograde as easily, or working through others like energetic frustrations. Clarification, please. Yeah, here's that Four of Wands in its upright. And the thing with the Four of Wands in its upright, do you see this? It's all about what it takes for something to be smooth, is what I keep on seeing. Like what it takes. What it takes, and we're going to talk about this right now, because this is the thing. And it's a continuation. It's a continuation on working through the warrior lessons that we're going through in Aries cycles. And the thing you have to understand and recognize in that kind of capacity is, and I like to describe this, not confusing kindness for weakness is the amplification of understanding why something is important and what its energetic implications are. And so that's what I keep on seeing that's happening to a certain extent in some of these energetic cycles. It's working through something, but in such a fashion that one is able to amplify and articulate upon the energetic meaning of it. And so something that we're seeing that's happening there, I keep on identifying, it's like I feel like there's something really significant that I see is happening in relationality to this energetic cycle that has to do specifically with being able to, I keep on seeing, like, articulate upon an energetic standard and being able to express why it is so important to the self. Now, what's beautiful about that for the energy, and remember how I said that there is some energy of resolution that's happening in this eclipse slash retrograde cycle. You'll recall that I mentioned that for the eclipse slash retrograde cycle, the ability to predicate, like the ability to heal upon something in this energy, is the ability to understand that when we bring over emotions to something that isn't energetically important, it has a profound impact on the energy surrounding circumstances or situations. That's the type of work that I'm seeing that's happening during these eclipse cycles. It's working through the implications of strong emotions. And that's why, like I keep on hearing, we don't throw our emotions around. Like we don't throw our emotions around like weapons, because I keep on seeing, and that's why I also hear like the space by which the understanding of an apology often doesn't fix something, because I keep on seeing that when we're energetically over emotional on things that are not energetically important, it can often be indicative of the fact that we're too much in our own energetic egoic space, right? Which is thinking too much in the context of the self. Now, at the same time, we can have a lot of emotions, and we have a lot of emotions. Often they can also articulate on spaces that we feel are energetically empathic or energetically compassionate, right? The ability to define and recognize something that we feel a lot of emotions upon because the implications of it are something that feel like they're necessary and energetically fundamental. And so I feel like what's interesting for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, I would not be surprised if the energy is articulating upon the difference, like the difference upon where it is okay and not okay to bring a lot of emotions is what I keep on seeing. It's like the identification point on the location on where it is and is not appropriate to have a lot of emotions, which is the space by which I see it's like working through the nuance of the emotions that feel like they energetically fortify versus the emotions that feel like they confound, right? And this is what, and that's the type of stuff that I see is happening right now deep within divine union. And I keep on seeing, it's like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because I almost feel like it's like energy trying to help one another as it relates to moving the emotions into a space that feel like they're energetically productive. Now, this brings us to a lot of the energy that is in separation. And that's what I mean right now. And I told you I'm going to tell you right now, I see some energy right now in separation that is healing from trauma. And that's some big stuff. When we heal from trauma, I need to stress this, sometimes when we're healing from trauma, the first thing we experience is anger. Okay? Like the first thing we experience is anger, is what I keep on seeing. So clarification between our death card in its reversal in combination with our page of wands in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify? There's that strength card. I'm not surprised to see it here, because I feel like there's something important that's happening in this eclipse cycle, this retrograde eclipse cycle, which is the ability to see what was energetically missing. When we start to heal, Often, and I need to point this out, and this is what's so problematic about healing. Often, when we're not in a healed space, we're experiencing something that is not working. And we say to ourselves, what do I need to do to effectively change this so that it gets energetically better? And then we sometimes go through those crash out moments where we're like, we have these like fracturing points where we go, nothing I do is going to energetically fix this. And it's only after we move through an energetic healing journey that the understanding comes that you can't fix something if another energy doesn't want to energetically fix it. And often the vibration by which something doesn't feel like it's working, but we're pouring more and more energetic effort into it, saying, maybe if I give it a bit more, it'll just fix. The observation of being able to energetically step back and observe what feels like it is moving. Like, this is what we mean by alignment. Often the healing journey is frustrating because it's the observation of what is moving in alignment with what it is we ourselves are trying to do versus something that we have to heal in relationality to something that is best energetically avoided. And that can create a lot of frustration in us. That can create a lot of feelings. And so I told you, even within a lot of this retrograde cycle, and this is what we meant in relationality to the difference between having, and this is why sometimes, this is when we talk about a good healing journey, is sometimes the work is internal, right? Sometimes we look back when we're on our healing journey and being like, whoa, I brought like way too much emotion to that. That is something that we take energetic accountability to, right? The ability to identify and recognize, like, that's how we energetically heal something. Sometimes on our healing journey, we try to move away from something expecting the fact that the emotions that we'll have upon something resolve, but lo and behold, they don't resolve. We don't get resolution on them. We get further energetic clarity. We get clarification on why it was so important. And so that's what I see is happening right now with a lot of the energy in separation. And I like this because I can see the energy that is working through the pathwork of accountability, where they're effectively looking at situations and saying that the desire to be in a healthy relationship, you're never required to be perfect. I'm going to say that again. In a healthy relationship, one is never required to be perfect. But often when we're in an unhealthy relationship, we will depart from an unhealthy relationship feeling energetically devastated, only to feeling because we were not perfect, we could not remain within it, only to recognize after the fact that the situation of being within a context where another person was demanding an impossible level of perfection was what needed to be energetically healed from. So that's why we keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, there's some straight up alignment. There's straight up alignment that is potentially happening right now with this eclipse / retrograde process. But a little bit of it is like, some of it is like, I keep on saying some of this is like working through the energetic fury that fortifies a direction. It's working through the understanding and recognition on being able to experience and have a conversation in that way. And I feel like what's interesting about that is for a lot of that energy in separation, I keep on hearing the ability to have a hard conversation is often one of the greatest qualities of a healthy relationship. So everything I keep on seeing there's like, I keep on getting like a lot of those circumstances or a lot of those situations, being able to identify and articulate the energetic meaning upon something. I keep on seeing that this is the energy that builds clarity into it, but the clarity that they're effectively building into it is being able to, I keep on seeing like, and I feel like it's interesting because I almost see a situation where energy, like potentially from the past, was expecting to come back towards someone. And I keep on hearing it's not the relationship of desperation where someone throws themselves into another's arms and says, I'm so glad to see you, but more of the energy of the intensification that says, you've got a lot of energetic audacity. You got a lot of like, are you ready to energetically face something? Are you ready to navigate through it? Because I keep on seeing that that's the energy that articulates upon what feels like it's energetically fortifying, right? The conversation the conversation that allows us to build into the context of recognizing whether another person's standards meet our own. And so I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy in separation, this may be a frustrating time, but it's the frustration that's healing, because it's being able to articulate upon why you're frustrated, that you're able to feel energetically fortified. And for a lot of the energy right now, continuing to move deeper into divine union, these are those temperance relationships we've been discussing. Clarification between our Page of Wands in its reversal in combination with our Four of Wands in its upright. We have here the Fool card. Wow, these are some intense cards that we're seeing right now. For a lot of the energy coming into divine union, I just keep on seeing that there's something very, I want to describe this as, I just keep on feeling like there's some energy here, like breathing a sigh of relief. I keep on getting that for a lot of this energy that's moving deeper into divine union. There's some, I keep wondering, there's something really significant in relationality of articulating upon something. And I keep on hearing they feel the energetic sureness of one another. And why do they feel that energetic sureness? Because if these are experiences, and remember how I said a lot of this retrograde energy, bringing things from the past back, either spiritually, tangibly, energetically. And I keep on seeing that for a lot of these energies that are working through that, I keep on hearing like the energy that says to one another, they're good to their word. And the reason they're saying to each other, they're good to their word, is because this isn't just the energy that was articulating upon something that they're energetically healing from. But I wouldn't be surprised if even in the context of these energies coming together, right, the retrograde brought something back from the past into the present. But it did not affect the energetic direction of the relationship. It did not confound it, because I keep on hearing, remember what I said, these are the partnerships that have good direction sense. They aren't the energy, I keep on hearing, these are not the energies that articulate upon the fact that they're healing upon something, but are in fact waiting. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of these relationships, working through the context of the release of that, but also being able to share with one another further, even potentially articulating upon the anxieties that they had prior to coming into this moment together. I feel like I see a lot of energy right now building upon or articulating upon what those plans are. And I feel like I keep on, the one word that keeps on coming through in a lot of those relationships is the word steadfast, because this is the energy that's like understanding, like, and that's what I remember when I said that the relationships coming together during this retrograde period I keep on hearing they're so fundamental, or they're so strong, because I keep on seeing that the reason that they're energetically steadfast is they're not letting the retrograde itself impact the energetic direction that they find themselves moving towards as it relates to healthy partnership. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union. And that's what I meant about qualitatively this energy being most potentially frustrating for the energy that is deep within divine union. Because for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, I'm just going to say the same thing I've been saying. This type of energy is frustrating but fortifying. But for energy that's deep within divine union, that's already very fortified, it can just feel more on the frustrating side. And I keep on getting that one thing that's very important that's happening in relationality to working through the emotions. And I keep on hearing strong emotions are fortified by being able to articulate upon why we have them. Okay? This is why we don't talk, like we've talked a lot, and this is a continuation of what we were talking about as it relates to what it means when we say that we're honoring our feelings. Honoring our feelings does not mean that we have to honor every single thing we feel. Sometimes we feel silly things. Okay. healing is a good majority of navigating what parts of the self are silly, something that is best to be worked through, something that is best to be worked on internally, versus something that is important, that we identify and recognize is something that we need to bring attention towards. Now, what's interesting about this right now, and this is why we talk about this here, for masculine and feminine right now, this work is very different, because we've got out here, I just want to show you, and I want to show you what it feels like for both masculine and feminine energy, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For masculine energy right now, I feel like this is more working through the context of patience. That's what we're effectively identifying in relationality to that strength card. It's working through the perseverance of the self, the gift of strength that is often found by being our most vulnerable aspect of the self. It's not easy, is what I keep on seeing. And for a lot, I keep on seeing for a lot of the masculine energy, I feel like I keep on feeling like for a lot of the masculine energy, it's working through a vulnerability. It's like masculine energy is working through the pathwork of understanding that you can't force vulnerability, right? And I keep on seeing that the understanding that vulnerability is the energetic gift that is in alignment to building into trust. I feel like there's something really beautiful about masculine energy that's potentially on that healing journey right now, that's almost looking through the process of vulnerability, almost in the context of their own unfolding, if it were. Right? There's a lot of the masculine that's potentially reprioritizing the unfolding of the self as the identification point of strength, because it's the articulation of how difficult it is to feel energetically vulnerable that can attenuate upon how energetically strong we are. At the same time, I can see a lot of the masculine energy working through the context of not feeling the environment around them that offers that ability. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, the ability to build into relationship where we feel like we are able to be our most vulnerable self becomes the energetic gift. For feminine right now, I see that for a lot of the feminine energy, this is having to push against hermit mode right now. Remember how I kept on saying that the Hermit card was coming out a lot? And we even saw last week, we had that High Priestess in its reversal, which is work. I keep wondering, like, working through something to a certain extent. And I keep on getting not diminishing one's own energetic feelings, finding the words to put meaning towards something. I keep on seeing that for a lot of the feminine energy right now, it's potentially requiring, this is the type of retrograde that's almost requiring the feminine to step out of their comfort zone. But I keep on hearing, I keep on hearing stepping out of our comfort zone is not about making something about ourselves so much as it is potentially putting I keep on hearing putting our best foot forward, or trying to do something in a way that allows something to be better, or allowing something to be easier. So everything I keep on seeing for a lot of that energy is almost working in the context of trying to do something in a better fashion. But everything I keep on seeing that's happening in that vibration, I keep on seeing a lot of the feminine energy working into the context of trying to clarify or articulate upon something that allows the arrival into something that feels like it is better or greater. So I feel and this is what we see with a lot of the energy deep within divine union, just putting these cards together. I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, it's I keep on feeling it's the energy deep within divine union that's working to identify supportive systems, or building into that context, as it were. Final card for today's reading between our strength card and our Fool card in its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? We've got here the Page of Pentacles in its reversal. Now, the thing we want to identify in relationality to this type of energy. And that's what I meant. I'm going to continue to say the same thing that I was saying prior to us entering this eclipse cycle, which is not allowing the context of taking something personally, but allowing the ability of identifying and recognizing what one is trying to do in a greater capacity. Because I keep on seeing that, and this is like, and I feel like there's something really significant in relationality to the work that we identify that's occurring during this eclipse cycle. I keep on getting, it's the conversation it's a conversation upon doing something in such a way that allows the ability to like, I keep on hearing like the gift that we give each other in showing up as our best selves is one that is like continually one that we're characterizing upon the arrival, that is the gift that we bring to situations and circumstances. Now, one of the things that I'm seeing that's happening or potentially shifting profoundly right now for some of the energy in separation is when we are in a state of energetic insecurity, we take others' energetic opinions of us personally, is what I keep on seeing. And what's interesting about that's what I meant about some of this energy in separation healing in some kind of like massive capacity. Because if these are relationships where, again, another person was trying to be overly demanding, and it's continuation of like the understanding that healthy partnership, we never put potential on the person in the partnership. We put it on the direction of the relationship, right? We never pin our manifestation goals on another. We pin them on the partnership, which is why often we can create those modalities or moments where we articulate our disappointment in another can feel so energetically devastating in relationship, because it's a little bit of that energy I'm seeing in separation that's coming through in a point of clarity that says like, and again, it's a continuation that when someone says, I'm disappointed in you, the thing we shouldn't do is move him immediately into apology, but ask the logical question, which was, well, what were you expecting? It's the expectation that we have to navigate. It's the understanding that we don't look towards each other for that space of deliverance. We deliver ourselves via the healthy partnership. So that's why I keep on seeing right now. Remember when I said that some of this energy coming out of this retrograde, like going through the process of a rude awakening, the reason I keep on calling it a rude awakening is that it is impolite. It is energetically impolite to build into partnership with the expectation that another person will change. Never are we so astray than to build into a relationship with the expectation that another person must change in order to facilitate the connection being healthy. Right? Like that is literally saying that the relationship is conducive on another person changing rather than the relationship itself changing. Because when we're in a space of mutual love and acceptance, then we build towards our best version of self, but we don't make it conditional on the ability of moving into partnership. So that's why I keep on seeing that there's some energy right now in separation that is coming into some healthy closure with relationships or situations that we're pinning too many expectations, not on the clarity of the direction of the relationship, where they should go, but on the person within it, which can often be indicative of what? Another person's energetic insecurity as it relates to how others perceive partnership. And that's why I keep on seeing that for a lot of those energies right now in separation, seeing something that is potentially frustrating, but reaffirming to one's own commitment of what it is that one is trying to heal. It's a reaffirmation of the understanding that in healthy relationship, we are not demanding to each other. We effectively arrive to one another. So for a lot of those relationships, I see that this is the energy that is moving forward and feeling frustrated but energetically restored because they understand what it is that they're seeking in partnership. For a lot of these temperance relationships that are moving deeper into divine union right now, a lot of this energy that we're seeing is potentially articulating to each other what those doubts and fears were. Because it's a lot of like, I keep on hearing like working through a lot of the trauma of potentially, I keep on hearing like the desire of wanting to share something with one another. But I keep on hearing, having the uncertainty, having the fear that someone was articulating that they were healing only for something from the past to come back and finding out that they were in fact waiting. This is a lot of the energy that is articulating to each other how much they mean to each other because they can see the authenticity as it relates to how they articulate, they move, and also how they do so. While for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, and these are some of those magician partnerships that are moving into divine union, there's something really important that's happening in terms of recognizing the temperature that's energetically changing outside of partnership. Because if these are relationships where they're articulating about the fact that there's something really profound and restorative that's happening for them in partnership right now, that ability of seeing like the easement, right? I told you that the healthy static that is immediately energetically resolved when another person is able to articulate upon the difference between the past and the present, that is allowing for that sense of I keep on hearing, allowing for that sense of restoration versus potentially experiencing some kind of rigor or unnecessity, like the static that doesn't seem to dissolve in the midst of articulating something that is energetically positive. I keep on seeing that for a lot of energy in that modality, there's something interesting because I feel like there's the relationship itself. It's like I told you, remember how we said that those magician partnerships were coming together because of the clarity by which they could be seen that allows them to see things with more clarity. It's almost like that clarity of self is extending outside of relationship as it relates to what feels like it's nourishing to seeing someone in a healthy partnership versus energy that is not necessarily maturing at the same rate as the relationship. Bottom of the deck on this reading, Page of Swords in its reversal. One of the things I want to articulate about this type of energy right now is, I got to tell you, it's a lot of stop start. It's a lot of stop start. Okay, I was saying before we entered this retrograde, this eclipse cycle, this is the retrograde of minor inconveniences. It's like a bunch of little things that feel like they're energetically unnecessary that just get under your skin. Don't be taking things personally right now during a retrograde and an eclipse cycle. You will thank me, okay? Because it's a lot of working through the fact that we've got Mercury in Virgo right now. We've also got a lot of heavy Virgo energy because we're in Virgo season. The ability to have a lot of like micro inconveniences happening, and the desire to really want to over internalize them and take them personally has never been stronger. I'm going to say the same thing that we need to, like, that was happening when we had Mercury in retrograde during this retrograde cycle. Have you tried putting a little compassion on it? Compassion doesn't mean niceness. If something's not okay, communicate. Compassion means communicating upon why you're passionate about something. Make sure that you are communicating through it, not reacting to it, to help resolve and absolve things as we continue through this eclipse season. That is our daily collective read. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site. So I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who participated in our recent tarot class on the Tower card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, September. No, wait, not Wednesday. I'm doing it Thursday. Thursday is not on Wednesday. I was going to say it's not on Wednesday this month. It typically is on Wednesday. It's going to be on Thursday this month. Thursday, September 18th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with a study on with a study on the star card. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Stack and become a paid subscriber. A paid monthly subscriber will have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library class archive. You'll also have access to our next class. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything we've learned and studied thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the whole year's worth of classes, you will also have full access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library archive. That is access to over 17 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage, moving towards your tarot goals going forward. One of the things I tried to focus on in these classes was making them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Stack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to my Mystic Meditation articles, which I release bi-monthly. I just released one recently on navigating through this very intense full moon cycle that we're currently experiencing. I also want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my students seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason, as those classes are focused on each individual's personal spiritual goals and journey work. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my students that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly, as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking I am also very happy to now offer dream interpretation readings, which you can purchase per dream or as a series. If you purchase the series, I would encourage you to start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key messages coming through in your dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.